This show is brought to you by Audible. Audible has over 100,000 audiobooks for you to choose from. To start your free trial today, go to audiblepodcast.com/SEPS. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the SEPS Paranormal Podcast. My name is Paul Cagle. No, we did not pod fade for good. We took a much-needed break, and now we're back with an all-new format. Before I get into all that, I would like to introduce our new co-host, Gaz Davies.
Hi guys, I'm Gaz, and I am the founder and lead investigator of Proof Paranormal Research Team based in Wales in the UK.
And Gaz is also working on his own TV show.
That's right. Obviously, we've kind of got together, me and the folks, about 2009, but we've kind of hit it from a new angle where we're all young, we're all enthusiastic, and we actually have fun on the investigations, and things are just materialized, and we've just kind of taken off, and the name has spread very fast, and we're lucky enough to have a production company working with us who are Vibe Video Productions, and at the moment we're currently doing an ongoing project with the BBC, recording for radio with them, and hopefully that will lead to something else as well.
That's cool. And just for those U.S. producers out there who are listening, Gaz's show is looking for a U.S. home. So be the first to contact them and let them know you would like to air their show. That would be great.
That's right. We want it to go to America so we can prove to you guys that another show with a screaming lady that kept running away from tables.
Here, move the table. Ah! Sorry. We're not bitter though, are we?
Properly. I'm not. Well,
I'm a little bitter. Yeah. We make fun of them all the time. But anyway,
yeah, we're on the ropes.
Yeah. So, a little bit about how the show is changing. Obviously, we have Gaz on the show now. Sushi is not gone. She will still be a part of the show when she can record. But we have two new segments that we're doing, and that will be Trivia with Sushi, and we also have Sushi's recent paranormal news, where she will be talking about something that's happened recently and giving her take on it. And that will all be later in the show. So today's topic is the differences and similarities between the US and UK involving the paranormal. And Gaz and I have discussed this a little bit back and forth, but Gaz, what is your take on this? What do you think some of the major differences are in the paranormal between the US and UK?
I don't know. It kind of varies from different sectors and what areas you're kind of studying. I think biggest thing that I've noticed with America is there's a huge advance in the equipment that is being used, and right. In my eyes, there's not a lot wrong with what's been used in the past. So to mess with things a little bit too much. Right. He's gonna. I know people are just gonna start using the stupidest things to go investigating with soon because
they already
there's
do
so many different
the geophone.
Yeah, there's two. Yeah, that's a great example. And if someone walks at the side of you and you can hear the EVP, you don't need a light to show that it's doing it.
Right.
Because that's your experience. You've heard the EVP and you've heard the footsteps. So you've had not a disembodied voice, but an actual noise.
Right.
And everyone else around you can hear it. So why do you need the lights to flash? And say,
I think that the problem with that particular piece of equipment as well, and I have harped on this before, is that if you set a geophone, and for those of you who don't know, a geophone is something that seismologists use to detect vibrations in a certain area. And what ghost hunters have been doing is they take the geophone and they put it down in the middle of the floor where there is allegedly an entity that moves back and forth, and it will tell them whether or not they're actually getting footsteps. Like if someone's downstairs and says, "Oh, I hear footsteps upstairs," and there's no one up there, this will monitor, and they'll train a camera on it, and it'll light up to let you know when the steps are happening. Now, the problem with this is that if you have pipes that are moving in the floorboards, or if you have someone outside that slams their car door really loudly, that geophone can be set to a sensitivity where it will pick up on that, but you won't hear it. So to me, that kind of gives it a false positive of this paranormal occurrence. where if you've got a recorder sitting there and you hear the footsteps and you see there's no one there, works better for me. That's just my personal
Yeah,
opinion.
yeah, definitely. Because don't forget, it's like even though the geophone's there, the Earth, there's millions and millions and millions of little earthquakes all the time. Just because the
Right.
room isn't shaking and you're not flying across doesn't mean they're not happening.
Right.
You know, the Earth is always evolving. Like
Yeah,
trees grow.
the
So, I
subsonic,
mean,
they're called subsonic something or other. I can't remember what they're called.
yeah, there is a strange word. I don't know what it is, but that's always going to happen. So just because you got this little light on the floor doesn't mean that that's a paranormal activity. It's just, it could be the Earth just growing and doing its thing.
Right.
That's like an advancement in equipment that I think we don't need to go that way. And I think like from the UK side, because there's been a lot of shows coming from the US, the guys and girls in the UK are trying to copy the things that you folks in the US are doing,
Well,
and there's not really any need to, because we're all, the old equipment from the old days works just as good as the new stuff.
and I agree with you there. As far as the equipment stuff goes, the thing about it is, from the U.S. perspective, is every group, and I'm sure your area is like this too, but every group over here wants to be the next big thing. So what
Yeah.
they're doing is they are reaching, they're striving for these new pieces of equipment to be the next ghost hunters or next, ghost adventures group. So
That's right.
so they're constantly doing this, and like you said, these people follow. A lot of people follow. Like if Ghost Adventures uses a geophone, everyone swears by it at that point because Zach used it, so obviously it's good enough for us too. And I don't like that. I do like the idea of new equipment, but I think it's going to have to be one of those research things where you specifically sit down and go, what results do we want? How do we get them? And what piece of equipment will record or allow us to witness this event? And
Yeah, like not something that's been. It's like with us, it's not a secret, but we've got a quantum physicist that designs equipment for us.
that's cool.
And he specifically goes out of his way, and he's trying to help us develop a new thing that we can use to get the proof of what we're doing,
Proof.
to try and catch it on film, like
Right.
pun intended, proof.
Exactly.
But it's like Joel has always had the theory of like not full spectrum cameras, but different lights. So we've looked into like black light,
Right.
and what can pick up with that. And it's like the IR illuminator that we've got. The quantum physicist has actually used a different kind of LED,
Oh, that's cool.
which it doesn't actually. It kind of creates a cloud of IR. So you could put it in the middle of a huge hall, like a huge theater, and aim it up at the ceiling, and it'll kind of create a cloud of IR that will come back down and open the room.
Oh, that's cool. I like that
So
idea.
it's not just directional. So it's we've got a full 360 view of what we're trying to see because of these new design of bulbs and the way that he's set it all out.
Right.
So it's like it's not kind of developing new, but it's enhancing what's already there.
Right.
It's like obviously people were using IR illuminators, but they're kind of more directional. So he's kind of helped us go out of the way and create the new thing that's bettering what we had before.
I think that's a good idea. I like that idea.
So,
As far as like paranormal, the difference in similarities. How is and for those of you who don't know, Gaz is from Swansea, Wales, in the UK, and and I understand that's just one part of the UK, and that there are other areas. But do you feel like the paranormal is taken seriously in the UK as seriously as it is in the US?
no, straight away, no, not at all. There's been people that, even though that we're doing really well and we're quite successfully with what we're doing, I'm always apprehensive to say what I do,
Right.
because obviously in the States it's not frowned upon. Like over in the States, it's kind of a cool thing. Oh, you're a paranormal investigator. There's so many different teams and groups out there that
Way too many.
it's the religion as well. There's more religion over in the US than there is in the UK. Obviously, there's a lot of religion here, but
Well,
people are more open to different things over there.
that was one of the
So
things that I was going to point out, though, is that we are in the South here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, and we are in the buckle of the Bible Belt.
yeah,
And sometimes that is a problem. I do believe that the paranormal is more open here in the U.S. However,
yeah,
sometimes in the South, you get a lot of Southern Baptists and religious individuals who tell you what you're doing is a sin, who tell you that you're going to hell for messing with the devil and demons and stuff like that. So you don't see that part on TV, but there is here in the South that kind of stigma that you are messing with the devil and the darkness and that you're going to get possessed. Something's going to follow you home and kill you. Something's going to rape you in your sleep. I mean, there is some of that stigma here where they honestly do believe that what you're doing
yeah.
is demonic and evil and that you are sinning and that you're going to hell for it. So,
I haven't. Yeah, it's not gone that far with us. It's not as if we've been told, "Oh my God, you're going to go to hell."
oh, I've
But
seen it.
it's
I've seen people. I've seen people put that on Facebook, and I've had people ask me personally, "Do you feel like what you're doing is okay?" Because honestly, you are messing with the devil, and I'm like, "Prove it. Where do you get
yeah.
that from?" Well, the
I've got a lot
Bible
of
says
equipment.
whatever. Yeah. So I mean, it is a lot more open over here. I don't experience that a lot, but there are times when you get that whole idea of you're going to hell, you're sinning, and you deserve what you get. And they're very
Yeah,
holier than thou and very pretentious about it.
yeah, that sucks. It's just like, with us, it started off as a hobby. Like, it still is a hobby. I think for every paranormal investigator, it is a hobby, and you just want to get the best results with that hobby, and
Right.
that's what we're all striving for. But if it does, it kind of gets me down because you want to kind of tell more people what you do, but then you don't want to be frowned upon. You don't want people to think, "Oh, you're nuts, you're a weirdo." But I think it's becoming more and more accepted over here now. But when I first started, which is only a few years back, it's changed a lot since then. It's like when I first started, I didn't tell anybody. I didn't really tell a lot of people. I just like my close knit of friends. But over the years now, I'm not, I do tell people, but I'm getting people liking like the Facebook page.
Right.
There's people liking that I never thought in a million years would like it
Well,
because
and,
it's
and
all
like
like,
you said at the beginning of the show, too, there's a particular television show that's been on for a while that is based in the UK that is always,
yeah,
they,
and that's
they
it's
look
like a bit of a
unprofessional.
because we,
Yeah,
yeah,
they look unprofessional because they're out there to seek these experiences, and they say, "If you're here, move the table." And as soon as the table moves, they scream and run and leave.
yeah,
At that point, you don't need to be ghost hunting. Now, if something punches you in the mouth, then yes, maybe step out of the situation for a few minutes and then go back in and whip its ass. But, if
yeah.
if you're asking, it's like me saying, Gaz, if you're in here, give me $5. Oh my God, he gave me $5. Oh my God, run. Why would you do that? I'm
I
not
don't
bitter,
know.
but I do think that adds to the fact that people maybe feel like some people in the UK don't take it as seriously as we do. And I
Yeah.
know for a
Well,
fact that's not true because your group is very professional and you are very honest and straightforward. So,
that's it. It's like the way we've kind of hit it is, if my personal, this is my own opinion. So if anyone wants to shout, then anyone shout at me. If we go into like a supposed haunted area, um, we'll go there and have fun and enjoy the night
right,
because my personal view is if I was a dead and I was a spirit and I had two groups of paranormal investigators and I had one that come there, sat really quiet, asked really depressing questions and just took it far too serious, I'm not going to want to talk to them.
right.
And if I've got a group of people that are friends having fun, enjoying what they're doing, and being professional but having a laugh
Right.
doing it, I'm going to want to speak to them.
And
I'll try and prove myself to them.
right, and that's one of the
Um,
things that with the Southeastern Paranormal Society, I tell our investigators, treat these ghosts if they're there as if they're people. Be respectful, be
yeah,
yourself. Don't curse them. dare them to do something. I wouldn't walk into your house, guys, and go, I dare you to do something. I dare you. That's rude. You would throw me out in a heartbeat. So we try
unless you didn't have a plane ticket to get back.
Exactly. I have to sleep outside on your lawn. I have to call Joel and go, Joel, guys, threw me out. And then I'll go to his house and go, I dare you to do something. I dare you to do it. No, but
guys, can I come back?
Yeah, it's gonna come back. Joel just punched me in the face. But yeah, I mean, you treat these, you walk into it, and you do have to be serious.
Yeah.
You're not saying you go in and strip all your clothes off or run around naked and go, oh, look at me, woo, I'm streaking. But you
not
do.
Far.
No, yeah, not often. You don't do it often. Not if it's cold. But but you do go in there and you have fun, and that's one of the things we do as well. Is we have fun. We go in to investigate a place, but we enjoy ourselves at the same time. Otherwise, you're not going to be very good at it.
No, because we don't want it to be repetitive. You go into the same, like not the same places, but go into a haunted area and just sit down and ask the same questions. Because we don't. All right, if we've got a bit of a lead on it, if they think, oh, we think it could be like something childish, because certain things have happened, we'll go in and aim at a child, like a child's age.
Exactly.
We use kids' toys, and we'll try and leave them sweets, or try and move this sweet wrapper for us and put it somewhere else, and let's play a game of hide and seek.
Right. Well, we play the knocking game. Yeah, we play the knocking game where do what I do, dun 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 dun, or say do what I do, dun dun dun. Can you do that? I would love to hear you. Yeah, we do the same thing.
Yeah, it's nice then because it's like you said, you treat them as if they're alive. You go in there, but you want to socialize with them. You want to be with them, so it's nice if we go in there and have fun. Surely, if there's a kid in there and we're having fun, the kid's going to want to come and see what we're doing.
That's true, but don't call me Shirley. Yeah, but especially with children, because children are very standoffish anyway. And if you have a child ghost that's not aware that they're dead, you can't go in there and respond to them like you would an adult, because you're not going to get anything. They're going to hide from you. If you go in there and go, who are you? How did you die? Show me something. A child is going to go hide. They're not going to, oh, look at this. Look at this. Look what I'm doing. So, yeah, you're right. You have to approach it differently. But
yeah, and it's like our best piece of evidence that we've had has actually come from a child spirit entity. We actually filmed in a place called the 1940s Swansea Bay Museum. And it's a kind of... in Swansea, there was like a big blitz during the Second World War, and this little museum is kind of reenacted like a village shop and
that's cool.
A house, a living room. So we've basically just gone in there, and I thought this would be the last place in the world to get activity, because it was just an off chance of maybe something was attached to an object in there. But yeah, we actually went in there, and I think it was about 4 times we went back, and on the 4th time we actually took a film crew with us. So they were filming us, and we were all in. There's like a makeshift bar that they had been given. So we were all standing in the bar, and we were trying the Singapore theory. And for people that don't know what that is
right.
You kind of wear period clothing. Like we were trying to communicate with, obviously, because it's the 1940s, it was like a war. We were wearing uniforms. And Joel came
period in, music and
yeah, that's it. It's just kind of to get the atmosphere back to what it would have been back then. But Joel kind of walked in with a sailor's outfit on, and we were taking the mickey out of him, going, "Oh, look at me, I'm in the Navy," that kind of thing. And we were making fun of him, and we just heard like a strange whistle kind of noise, and we're like, "What the hell was that?"
Yeah,
and there was a lot of swear words put in there because we
I
were
heard
startled
that. I remember
because it's so loud.
You sent that to me.
Yeah, I'll try. And if anybody wants to get a copy of it, feel free to contact Paul, and I'll try and get a copy of it sent over.
Yeah, it's cool because you hear the whistle and then you hear them go, "What was that?"
I know, but that's the good thing, because we had the cameras there.
Right.
Everybody was actually on film, so we could see that nobody made that strange noise at the time it happened. We had a sound technician actually take it away and evaluate the wave patterns, and obviously our speech level was a lot higher than this little voice that came through.
Yeah.
And it was more of we heard it as a little strange kind of whistly noise, but nothing what we actually played back, but because we were making fun of Joel's sexuality, saying, "Oh, look, you're in the Navy," that kind of thing, a very precise come through.
I'm
And
sure that's
when
not
we
the
heard
first
it back,
time you guys have made fun of Joel's sexuality, but
no, he's very butch. No, he's going to kill me when he hears this.
yes, he's going to kill me too. Thankfully, I'm in the U.S.
I'll come and talk to you.
There you go.
But the whistle was fantastic, and obviously, if you're hitting it from a certain angle where we're going to interact with a child and have fun and enjoy it, we're going to get the best evidence. So
yeah, we are going to take a quick break and play our trivia question, and we will be back. And we will discuss this whole idea of the differences and similarities between the U.S. and U.K. involving the paranormal. So we will be right back after this trivia question.
Hey everybody, Sushi here with this week's trivia. Which historical figure is popularly credited with inventing the first telephone to the dead? Was it A, Benjamin Franklin, B, Thomas Edison, C, Nikola Tesla, or D, Edgar Cayce? The answer in just a little bit. Stay tuned.
Thanks, Sushi. That was a great question. And actually, I know the answer because I did a show or something on it, but it's a very interesting topic.
I was going to say something then, but I don't want to give the answer away.
Yeah. Maybe after we give the answer, you can say it. But
yeah, 'cause there's one I wouldn't want to use.
Yeah, yeah. But one of the things that fascinated me when I first started talking to you guys was, I had jokingly said, "Oh, you guys all live in castles," and you said, "No, we don't live in castles, but we do investigate them." And I find that fascinating. Yeah. So that's one aspect of the paranormal that is different, is the whole investigating of these castles. What sort of evidence do you get during these investigations that kind of coincides with this? I mean, do you get different languages? Do you get period information? What's that like?
Yeah, well, we definitely don't live in castles, but yeah, we do investigate them quite a lot. And there's a good thing that you've just mentioned there is obviously the languages, because we're in the UK, but obviously you've got Scotland, Ireland, England, and Wales, which is part of the UK. And in Wales, we use a language called Celtic. It's like Welsh. It's a Celtic language.
Yeah, it's also called Gaelic. We call it Gaelic.
Yeah,
and you have Welsh
that's
Gaelic.
It. Ireland's got Gaelic as well. And,
right, you have Welsh Gaelic and Irish Gaelic, and they're all different.
That's right. So obviously, back in period time, there would have been Welsh as their first language rather than English as their first language. So we've gone in there blind, thinking, okay, so how do we do this? And we've gone out there, done our own investigation, and not actually had a lot happen. But when we've had a Welsh speaker with us at the time, we've actually asked them to basically translate what we're saying, because I'm not a fluent Welsh speaker. I can understand little words, but I'm not fluent. I've been told. We've gone into, there's one, for instance, that's the last one we've investigated, which was Oystermouth Castle, which is in Swansea Bay. Well, it's on the Mumbles, but it's classed as Swansea Bay. And we had not a lot of stuff actually go on that particular night that we were there. But we went into the church area, or the place they used to go and pray. And we had the name off a leaflet, some of the history. So we thought, right, okay, we'll aim at that. And we had a Welsh speaker with us at the time, and we had her ask questions in Welsh. And with that, we instantly had responses.
That's cool.
So we thought, okay, well, that's great. And then there's been another time we've been investigating in, it's a converted theatre, so it's not a movie theatre. But, well, it's a movie theatre now, but it used to be just a theatre where they had plays. And it's in an old Welsh mining village of, I can't remember where it was, actually.
You could have told us it was Mickey Mouse Land, and we wouldn't have known the difference.
No, it's in a place called Bryn Aman. And it used to be like an old mining village.
Oh, yeah, obviously, of course, yeah.
So, yeah, because that's it. There's a lot of mines around here.
Yeah, the Queen's Gold and all that.
Yeah, and I haven't seen any of it yet.
Me neither. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, but this one building that we went to used to be a place for the miners, and the miners paid for this hall to be built. And I think it's like 1 shilling or something per week out of their wages went towards it. And when it was built, I think it was a month or so after, the place burnt down.
Wow.
So they rebuilt on the foundations of it, and it was turned into like a theatre and things like that then. But we went in there and studied. We got quite a few different bits of paranormal activity that we couldn't explain, so we put that in the paranormal bracket. But then when we had a Welsh girl come with us that one night, we were asking different questions, and instantly again we had Welsh responses. Responses to the Welsh language. So I think part of me thinks, well, that's a really good thing to do and try and aim at, is like whenever we go somewhere to try and take a Welsh speaker with us.
I do like that. I love the idea of going to a place like that and speaking the language that would have been spoken in the era that you're trying to reach, and them responding in that language or responding to you somehow.
Yeah, so he knows it's been understood.
Yeah, because that lends a certain credibility to the idea of this haunting, and I like that.
Yeah. So that's quite cool. It's like, so you speak about us investigating castles.
Right.
To us, we always see Americans investigating like mental asylums and places like that, because obviously America is a younger country than the UK.
Right.
What kind of places do you think has got, like you thought we investigate castles and things like that? Do you think you've got like a bit of a cliche investigating area?
I think that as far as investigating over here, our major places would be battlefields from the Civil War, or houses built during the Civil War era, as well as these big, huge, I guess, urban structures. Places like Waverly Hills, the TB clinic where a bunch of people died. We have mental asylums. We have the Hell's Bar Dam, which is local here, and when it was built, there were a lot of migrant workers that were working there that were there illegally. So when they died, they had nothing to do with them. So they would bury them their bodies in the concrete walls while they were building the dam. No. So we have some of these places with dark history where, we don't have castles and old places like that, but we have old Civil War homes that were used for slaves. A lot of the slave houses that they're standing, we will try to get into those. Civil War homes where they kept slaves or where the Underground Railroad went through, investigate those, because you can get some very interesting information from those. I know there was another Southeastern Paranormal Society that was in Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and we became like sister groups or whatever you want to call it, and they had investigated this place where this one room where slaves were notoriously beaten. And in a completely quiet room, you get the sound of this slave being beaten with chains. And it's very graphic. Wow. It's on our website if people want to listen to it, www.sepsparanormal.org. And I believe it's the very first EVP that's up there. But they said it's a very quiet room, and you hear this slave being beaten. So you guys have castles, and we kind of have the Civil War era. We have the battlefield here, the Chickamauga battlefield, which is one of the bloodiest battles in the Civil War history. So we have that, and we have these old, urban structures where they're built and they have a very dark history. Either a lot of people died there because of tuberculosis or a mental asylum where they were abused. So, I think that's our equivalent of your castles,
That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah.
The equivalent.
Yeah.
No, but that's right. It's like, but if you put all these places together, there's one thing that springs out, and that's trauma.
Yeah.
They're all traumatic places, because a lot of the castles that we've got around in Wales or in the UK, a lot of them did see battles.
Right. And that's what castles were really for, was for fortification, keeping out enemies and that kind of thing. So,
but I didn't realise that. To me, I don't know if it was just my ignorance of, I didn't really look into it, or I didn't pay attention in history. To me, I didn't think that all castles had such a battle history, but they have. And since I've got into doing this, I've kind of understood more that nearly every fortification has had a battle, and it was built for a reason.
Right.
And it's like, wow, and you think, well, that's traumatic. But then you look at mental asylums, imagine the amount of trauma that was in a place like that.
Because you're not
just, obviously you go in there, you're having shock treatment, and you're being abused, and
you're not just dealing with people that are crazy or mentally unstable. You're also dealing with, back in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, with mental disorders that weren't even understood at the time. So
That's right, yeah.
they had barbaric practices that would sometimes alleviate but not heal the symptoms. So these places became very dark and very abusive in their treatment of the patients and stuff. And
Yeah.
I think that there was a lot of overcrowding, because I think if someone had a mentally disabled family member they couldn't deal with, they would just dump them off on these facilities. So you've got
That's right.
overcrowding, you've got misunderstanding, and then you've got overworked nurses and doctors who were already using barbaric practices to begin with, and some of them just want to make money.
Yeah.
So they became very dark places.
It's like the place that I think I love. To me, I would love to come over to the States and investigate, because there's places that you guys go to. It's like the local jailhouse.
Right.
Places like that. It's like, for different reasons, people get they go in there thinking of the wrong thing. And like, to me, if I was like a police officer over there, and it's such a tragedy, this is quite recent now, is the children who were shot in
Right.
Connecticut.
Right.
Think of the officers that actually had to go in and see that.
I know.
And if that's their place of work, and you get like the repetitive hauntings,
Right.
the residual hauntings, because that one officer worked there for his whole career, and if he's had to go and see that tragedy, he's traumatized. And people don't really think of the police officers that go into that kind of environment.
Right.
That's always the last thought. It's like, oh my God, I'm so sorry for the parents, which is, completely understandable. But, these guys go in and they have to deal with the trauma of seeing that as well. So that's a traumatic experience for them. And obviously, in their jailhouse or their police station, maybe that's where they've got their residual haunting.
Right.
There's certain things. There's like different areas that I would love to go and investigate of, because we can't, like, the police station's here, unless I go out there and punch a random guy in the street. I'm not going to see the inside of it. But obviously there's unused jailhouses over there, or there's jailhouses that you can actually get access to.
Yeah, they won't
And
let
I'd
you
love
in
to go.
they wouldn't let you in an actual jail, working jail now, because you might get hurt. But some of the ones that are closed, I can't think of the one where Ghost Hunters was, when Brian Harnois got scared and yelled, "Dude, run!" But these penitentiaries and jail cells, they are rife with this negativity and darkness and violence and some of the worst criminals ever. So that does lend itself to that whole idea of trauma in this location causing a haunting. Something else, and I didn't really think about this one until someone brought it up. I think it was last year, another ghost hunter, but he was an EMT, and he said that his ambulance was haunted from, I guess, someone who had died in there. Yeah. And he said that random things would happen in the ambulance. And I'd never thought about that. If you died,
that's another place. Yeah,
yeah,
more trauma. It's like so mad.
Yeah,
I think another traumatic place would have been my principal's office. That's really traumatic. I was in there so often.
Look at the shock on my face. Yeah. No, but
so it's just like, to me, I'd love if there's an offer there, fly me over to the States and I'll come over.
Well, come over and we'll find one. I mean, I think there is a jail, a closed down jail here in Tennessee that's supposed to be notoriously haunted, and I think they will let you in. I think they do overnight tours and stuff. So maybe we could get in one of those somewhere else. And I'm sure you guys have the same thing over there as hospitals. We were the very first group ever to investigate the South Pittsburgh Hospital, and it has since been on Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures, and that, what was the show that Zach did with where the teams went in and investigated together to see who won? But it's been covered many times. But this place is very, very haunted, and it was just an old hospital that I grew up close to, and one of my friends knew the doctor who owned it, and he allowed us to go in there, and now it's on TV. Every time you turn around, they have investigations. So hospitals are really good, I think, regardless of what country, state, nation, area, I think they're pretty much all haunted at this point because of the trauma and the difficulties people have faced there.
Yeah. Well, that's like over here, we've got a lot of hospitals, but gaining access to them is quite hard now because the property is sold.
Right.
As soon as the hospital's kind of closed down, the property is sold for development.
Yeah, we don't have that over here all the time.
Oh no, you've got a lot of land over there.
Yeah.
But like close to us, we've got a place called Talgarth Asylum, or it's a hospital as well. But we've actually got in contact with the owners. They actually would have let us go in there, but there's asbestos. In the roof. So they kind of said if that wasn't there, we would let you in, but we can't. So they've actually sold the land for development. So it's like, so we could have actually gone in there, but
better safe than sorry, because you don't want to deal with something like that.
That's right. But then other than that, there's not many hospitals around that we can gain access to. Obviously, we get offered a few different places with all the filming and shooting stuff that we're doing, but a lot of the best places are so large, they're sold for development. So.
Yeah, we do have quite a few hospitals that have been shut down and reopened elsewhere or under new management elsewhere. And these facilities are sitting abandoned, and they're really great places to go investigate. And unfortunately, people break into these places way too often, so they're kind of reluctant about letting people in for those reasons. So you have to be really careful. But there are some amazing places to investigate like that. It's really cool. But we are going to take a break, and we'll come back and finish up with this topic. Every day, ordinary people around the world are having extraordinary experiences. Some of these experiences are profound and life-changing, while others reveal a cold, dark truth that's unfathomable to the human condition. Join Paul Cagle, Spring Wolf, and Sushi as they discuss the paranormal, close encounters with the unusual, and interactions with the supernatural. Join the Enigma Project Mondays at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Tenacity Radio Network.
Hi, this is Sushi with my take on recent paranormal headlines for January 6, 2013. Brian Harnois, one of the original members of TAPS, gave the paranormal community a bit of a scare during the early part of December by posting what seemed to be a suicide note on Facebook. There was no communication from him for a few days, and some feared the worst. But much to the relief of his family, friends, and fans, he was found. The only thing we outside observers know is what he told us, that he was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and is getting the help that he needs. We also know that he is separated from his wife and kids by reading his Facebook and Twitter accounts. And fellow outside observers, that is all we need to know. From the very earliest episodes of Ghost Hunters, we could tell that Brian was the oddball. That's what made him so endearing, and quite frankly, why I found the show so interesting. Later seasons of Ghost Hunters got too formulaic for me, and I quit watching. Oh, sure, they would get the greatest locations I would just love to investigate. But what gave those early episodes the edge was that personal interaction of the team with each other. That conflict, the struggles, the screw-ups, that was good television. I've always been a Brian fan. Yes, I was the proud owner of a Dude Run hat. When I met him at the local science fiction convention, I found him to be pleasant, well-spoken, accommodating, and had great stories. So when I see that people have made comments to him like it was just a publicity stunt or what a pathetic cry for attention, it ticks me off. Really, people? If your sibling or parent left a suicide note and disappeared for a couple of days, would you call it a pathetic cry for attention and bash them in public? A publicity stunt? Didn't he just recently tweet that if he had to do it all over again, he would have never gone on television? That doesn't sound like someone looking for more fame to me. I won't say it wasn't a cry for attention because, sorry Brian, it was. He needed the attention, the support, and the psychological help, and I, for one, am very glad that he got it. If you are a Brian fan, then by all means go to his Facebook and send him a "I'm glad you're okay" message. And if you aren't, shut the hell up. Try to treat people the way you would want to be treated, public figure or not. This is Sushi. Happy hunting!
Amen, Sushi. I agree. We wish Brian well, and we hope that he gets the help that he needs, because being bipolar and out in the world can be difficult, and everyone needs some sort of support. So good luck for Brian.
Yeah, from here as well.
Yeah.
Definitely. Bipolar is like not a nice thing anyway, but if you're in the media and the spotlight as well, that's just going to be really hard.
Yeah, especially the way they treated him, as far as just the whole dude run and all that. Like Sushi was talking about, we met him at a local convention here. We got to spend time with him, and he was really well spoken and very laid back and very nice. He was telling us about the whole dude run thing and what actually happened, and he said that it didn't necessarily happen the way they showed it. They edited it to look a certain way. And, he just laughed it off and thought it was funny. He was like, yeah, what can you do? It's television. You got to entertain. He didn't really take it personally, but he was very nice, very open, very honest. He was a lot of fun to talk to. So we certainly want him to get the help he needs. That's got to be a tough thing.
Oh God, yeah.
Because he was definitely portrayed on Ghost Hunters as the idiot screw up, And
it's like the hired, fired, the hired.
Right. And I know he was dealing with personal issues during that time too. I guess at the time, then his girlfriend was pressuring him to come home and stay home and not go out, and calling him constantly, and it caused problems. And he left the show, and then he went back, and I think he broke up with her and went back, and then he married her. And so, but he did also, for those of you who don't know, Andy Andrews, and what was the female investigator's name? That was their
Amy?
No, that was their case manager first.
Oh, Tracy. Was it Tracy?
No, it was the other, I can't think of her name. I could see her face, but I can't think of her name.
Dark-haired lady.
Yeah. Well, when they went from Ghost Hunters to Ghost Hunters International, their contract was so bad that they got screwed out of a whole bunch of money, and all of them filed bankruptcy, from what I understand. So that's basically what happened to their careers, was that they went from one show to another, and just to the contractual obligations and the way it was written, they lost everything they had for that. So they were a little bitter and upset about that, which is understandable. I think anyone, if I invited you to my group and you came over and screwed your life up, I think you would have a right to be bitter at that point.
Oh, yeah.
And just so you know, Gaz, if I ever invite you to my group and you join, it will screw your life up. I'm just going to be honest with you and tell you right now. But yeah.
I'll be right over.
Well, come on over. No, but one of the things that I think would be interesting to do, and you and I have kind of talked about this back and forth, involving or regarding the similarities and differences in the UK and US, is that I would love to come to Swansea, Wales, and investigate with you guys, and then have you come to the US and investigate with us, so that we had a better understanding and a more personal view of the differences and similarities. I think that as far as, similarities go, I think you guys use the same equipment we do. I don't think there's really anything different that you one versus the other. I think that as far as equipment goes, though, it is a personal choice of what you're going to use and what you're not going to use. So I think that's similar. I think that the investigation techniques are similar, although I know that you guys do certain things that we don't do, and I think that's just a group thing, like with, what is it called, the Dare game?
Oh, the Brave game.
Oh, the Brave game, that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, we don't do that, but that's just because we never have. But do you want to tell people?
Well, that's it. I think that's more just to get your adrenaline going, and to have more of a fun atmosphere in there. We've kind of, we have done it with the team, but then we've done it on a few of the events that we've run. We kind of set up a surveillance camera in a one room, and when people come into the actual location, we'll give them a playing card, and then we'll go through the cards, and whoever gets the lowest, we'll dish them out again, and then lower it down again, and then whoever's left with the lowest card has got to do the Brave game, and it's really good. It's quite fun because it's fun selecting the person that's going to do it. And then they've got to spend 10 minutes in the one area. They've got to sit there and call out for things to happen and ask to be touched and things like that. And we've got to give them a radio and a torch. We'll all watch them on the screens, and it is really fun. And the next event that we're doing now in January, we've actually got our clothing sponsor to make T-shirts, and a few cups saying "I beat the Brave" game.
Oh, that's cool.
Just like a bit of a fun incentive and make it more of a fun event to go to. But we do it as a team. The one place when we go in there, and if someone says, "Oh my God, I don't want to go down that part on my own," unlucky, you've just said it. That's where you're going right now. So we go and send them down there, and it's for them. It's personal experience is the best thing about it.
Kind of like Ghost Adventures with Nick and Aaron, where Aaron's like, "Oh, that place looks really horrible," and then Zach is like, "Oh, that's where you're staying tonight," and he's like, "Oh crap." So yeah,
see, that just reminded me of that video on YouTube.
Which one? The spoof?
Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Bruce. Yeah, that was funny. I like that one.
That was brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. No,
yeah.
but as a bit of a subject from UK and US, I think there's not much of a difference, but there's you guys over there, you not get away with more, but it's understood more of what you do, and I want that to be like it is over in the UK.
Well, I think that if you guys can get this show off the ground and picked up, and especially in different countries and everything, I think that would go a long way with showing the world how serious the UK is about paranormal investigating, and maybe open up some more doors for you guys, because they will see that you guys are serious, you're professional, you're honest, and that this is a big deal to some people. And I think that would go a long way, especially here in the U.S. Like you said, that stupid show where anything happens and they run, that kind of...
Yeah, we're not all like that.
Yeah, kind of makes it look like people over there are big old pansies. And I know some of you are, but I'm kidding. Joel. But Joel's going to kill both of us.
Oh, I know.
One night I'll come home and he'll be in my apartment and he'll be trying to kill me. He'll be speaking Welsh. He'll be dressed in like Braveheart outfit with like woad on his face, yelling Welsh as he stabs me repeatedly.
Probably.
I'll be like, "What are you saying? Quit stabbing me!"
Oh, you're saying I'm going to stab you? Okay.
I'm sorry, in Welsh that means keep stabbing me. Okay. No, I don't speak Welsh. Yeah. I think that if you guys get the show off the ground and get everything going, I think that'll be a huge step towards opening things up for the UK and having them, having it more accepted over there. I think that'll be great.
Well, that's it. Like, I want us to like build the reputation up over in the US.
Yeah, me too.
As well. Before the media gets over there, or what we film gets over there. It's like doing podcasts with yourself. I think that's a really good thing, because obviously I'm communicating more with all you guys, and that's a really nice thing to do, because like I don't want to be sending material over to the US blind.
And we are heard worldwide too, so.
You are?
Yes, the podcast.
No, but you are. Everyone can hear you.
Oh, that's true. I'm loud. I was stage trained. I know how to project my voice.
I mean, with a microphone.
Yeah, I'm not using a microphone, dude. What are you talking about? You hear me.
No,
you are hearing me in Wales via your own ears. I'm not using a microphone. So basically, everyone at this point over here is just hearing my side of the conversation. And it's like I'm talking to myself because I can't hear you over the thing.
I'm talking to myself.
Yeah, that's usually what I do. So no one who knows me, honestly, is surprised by that. I mean, seriously, I talk to myself all the time. They say the problem is if you answer yourself, but I never have the answers, so it doesn't matter. So I'm pretty good. I'm safe with that.
You're safe for now, then?
Yeah, for now. One day I'll screw it up somehow, because I always do, but that's neither here nor there. But before we go, because we're running out of time, but before we go, I want to go ahead and play Sushi's trivia answer, and then we will talk a little bit about what we have coming up for future shows.
Hey, it's Sushi with this week's answer to the trivia question. Which historical figure is popularly credited with inventing the first telephone to the dead? The answer was B. Thomas Edison. During the 1920s, Edison told American Magazine that he was working on a device known as a spirit phone. In other words, a phone that would let the living communicate with the dead. No schematic or prototype was ever found, so many believe that Edison was playing a joke on reporters, and no one really knows how serious he was about the idea. Spirit phone imposters have popped up over the years, including a psychophone that was the subject of a PBS History Detectives feature. But it turned out to be a fake. To read more about Edison and his telephone to the dead, go to gereports.com and search for Spirit Phone. I'll be back next week with another trivia question, and thanks for listening to the SEPS Paranormal Podcast.
Thanks, Sushi. That was great. I love that trivia question. And I want to point out that if anyone out there has a trivia question you would like to send to the show, please send it to trivia@sepsparanormal.org, and maybe we will pick your question and play it on the show and give you credit for it. I think that would be great.
Can I say what I wanted to say earlier?
Yes.
I didn't want to use the Tesla machine. Hello?
Yeah, you don't want a Tesla coil out there. There are people who use Tesla coils, though, as EMF, EM pumps. They use Tesla coils as EM pumps.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like that stupid Parabot that stupid guy created that I went off on. Anyway, before we end the show, I want to remind everyone to please go out and visit our websites at www.sepsparanormal.org. That's our actual website. We also have a blog where we write about what's coming up on future shows, what we have going on, and stuff like that at www.sepsparanormal.com. And then if you want to visit Gaz's site, you can go to www.proof-uk.com, and you can find them there. You can also join our Facebook at, ours is SEPSC, SEPSC, and Gaz's is Proof Paranormal Research Team, all one word. And you can also go to Gaz Proof and friend him there, GAZPROOF.
Gaz isn't really a bad name, is it?
Well, it's an uncommon name here. We don't, like your name is Gareth.
Yeah.
Over here, we don't shorten it to Gaz. So it's an original name here. I think it's cool. I think it's a really cool name.
Right, well, if anyone's listening, this time, in 9 months' time, I want some babies called Gaz.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Get your wife pregnant tonight. Name the baby Gaz. Lord God,
Only
we're going to have people suing.
If it's a girl, then.
Please do not sue the SEPS Paranormal Podcast for our insanity, because we don't have anything. First of all, you're not going to get anything. And secondly, who knows what's going to happen next. But, I want to point out that next week our show is going to be influences of paranormal movies. And Gaz and I will discuss what paranormal movies have had positive and negative influences on the paranormal today and how it's viewed. So that should be it. That's going to wrap it up for this episode of the SEPS Paranormal Podcast. We will be back in 2 weeks, where, like I said, our topic will be influences of paranormal movies. If you have any questions or comments, please send them to paul@sepsparanormal.org. If you want to know what we're up to, please visit the blog at sepsparanormal.com. We will be back in 2 weeks, everyone. Have a good night, and we will talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.
Take care.
All music played on this show is by Kevin MacLeod and is used under a Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0 license. You can find Kevin's work at www.incompetech.com.